Works for me.
All right, so this is the third episode of the Sushi Forum podcast, where we discuss sushi related news, proposals, community updates, things like that, just to keep the community discussion active. Today, unfortunately, Overly Ambitious is not able to attend due to something coming up in his life, but he will be back. And we're discussing today with Maya and Chester LaCroix concerning their PR and communications proposal, sort of, is how I would call it. It's really, really exciting to have you guys on to talk.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here.
Yeah, thanks for having us on.
Do you guys want to sort of briefly just talk, just very vaguely about like what your backgrounds are and sort of where you're coming from?
Yeah, totally. Okay, my name is Mia, and then I'm with SushiSwap from day one farming. And I have always been with sushi. And my background in crypto is I entered the crypto and blockchain world in late 2016. And I founded a blockchain media company in Silicon Valley and also based in China. And we hosted a few big conferences, blockchain conferences in Silicon Valley and in China, and with like more than 2,000 attendees and maybe more than 100 projects, blockchain projects and cryptos. And so in 3 years, like from 2017, 18, and 19, and this year, then we hosted some blockchain online events. So I have been in blockchain and crypto like for maybe more than 3 years, maybe yeah, more than 3 years so far. And I'm very interested in this crypto and blockchain, and believe in the future of this create like this crypto thing. And sushi, I'm very interested in sushi is because it's a purely community run project. And since like 3 years ago, I joined the crypto world. I haven't seen like any project like sushi, which is really 100% community run. Although then we have teams and who help like move some of the tasks and then move forward of some of the tasks, and then dev team to work on the technical. But most of the proposals, most of the big decisions is done like by the community. So this is why I'm interested in sushi very much, and I want to support sushi. It's kind of like a revolutionary in crypto world and also in traditional like technology world. So that's why then I'm here like with sushi, and hopefully that I can contribute more like for sushi and make sushi like a more powerful in the future.
Yeah, I totally agree. How Sushi Swap is sort of like a revolution that's happening on blockchain, and sort of the interpretation of what type of projects and sort of what it means to be community run, and um, it's a lot, has a lot going for it. Um,
Totally.
and Chester, your background.
Sure. So I don't have um, much of a background in crypto. It's something I've been casually interested in for several years, but it's something that's recently piqued my interest more and something I've been getting more and more involved in. And I don't quite remember how I came across Sushi Swap, but I did join the platform probably within a week of uh, Chef Nomi disappearing and all of that. And I've just found it really fascinating to watch in a way, the way a community has been coming together to not only build this incredible platform, but do so against the backlash of all of this negative PR and still be working towards creating something innovative. So that really kind of inspired me to start to get involved and talk in the channel and create some graphics and speak with people and kind of drum up interest and then begin to extrapolate on some of my ideas. And so my professional background in that realm, I've been working as a creative and branding director for a medium-sized retail chain in the United States for about 5 years. And I have my hands in a lot of our marketing strategy and the branding and visual strategy attached to that, as well as continuing to tailor and alter the brand based on, you know, the kinds of feedback we get, where we see our engagement coming from, and kind of taking the same strategies down to the concrete tasks that we do. So just given my background of that, when I came in to the Discord and kind of saw that so much of the incredible knowledge that was floating around the Discord was largely related to just tech, I thought that, this might be one thing where I feel I might have some use to contribute. Um, so I'm just really excited to be helping out.
Awesome. So I mean it's a pretty big job. So like when you are working as the creative director, creative and branding director, what type of decisions would like come to your type of desk? What type of like day-to-day work would you engage in?
So it kind of depends on the day. So my company has between 60 and 70 physical retail locations. And so there are certain things I have to oversee for that. Like we swap out a lot of signage, and we have a lot of contracts with brands that we carry that they become kind of a marketing focus. So I have to align with them about how the signs and such in the stores are going to look. But the part of the business I'm largely focused on is our e-commerce side of the business. So day to day, I'm kind of overseeing what's going out in our email marketing. We send promotional emails to a variety of customer bases, probably 3 to 4 times a day. And I also am working with our social media team to strategize about what we're going to post. And I make sure that myself and whoever's working on it, that visually and with copywriting, it's up to our standards that I have set with our leadership team, as well as updating our website kind of through the same lens, and, providing my team's help to create miscellaneous visual assets, whether it's for retargeting or Google ads or Instagram ads or printed coupons or other things for affiliate marketers across the website, whatever. So kind of just making sure that everything that comes out from us officially has the same look and feel, tone of voice, and, is recognizable as such.
Awesome. It's a very, it seems like you have your hands in a lot of different types of decisions, a lot of the business side and also the marketing and sort of visual and social media side of it. And I think it's good that you know explain that for people who may not understand what a marketing director would do, namely me. Um, so just I want to sort of like get into the proposal itself. And so it says, so goals, milestone one, rebuild community's trust and confidence in SushiSwap. So this is more of like a sort of PR vision milestone, not really a concrete thing there, but moving on. So the milestone two, implement organic social strategy, grow Twitter following, medium readership, and engagement with Discord, Telegram, and WeChat. So this is, do you have any plans or ideas with this milestone? Or, yeah, do you guys, why don't you guys expand on that milestone? Sorry.
Sure.
Yeah,
Do you want to take it first, Maya, and I can maybe dive into some of the more like concrete and granular things I added to that strategy section?
totally. Thanks, Chester. So on the high level, like for this plan, I want to divide our market into US or Europe, like English speaking countries, and China. So because the market situation is quite different. So like I noticed that we didn't have like a specific social media um, social media account registered for China before I joined the sushi team. So that's why we registered for WeChat account about like 2 weeks ago, and we already started to post some of the articles and especially some of the training materials, like how to use some of the wallet to connect to SushiSwap to farm or to do the swap for coins. And we published several Chinese articles like there. And I have received a lot of feedbacks and a lot of like requests from our China community, which is really nice. Then they suggest me that what kind of article then the community would like to read. And the some of the community member, I really appreciate that they also like shared with me the full article, and and I just like publish it. So we have been publishing on WeChat for Chinese articles. And for Twitter, I have been managing Twitter, I think also like for maybe about 2 weeks, one week or 2 weeks. Um, so the strategy for Twitter is like I try to tweet more, like more often than before. If you notice that we probably like tweet maybe once a day or maybe every 2 days, something like that. Because our core team has like some of their preference, like not to make a lot of noise on Twitter. I kind of understand that point, but also then I want to take more use of the Twitter because I think a lot of crypto projects and crypto like founders, KOL, and they extensively use Twitter to communicate with each other. And a lot of people are following the Twitter. So that's why then I want to empower us like using Twitter. So starting from like last week, then I started to tweet more, maybe more like twice a day or something. And also Chester and I have been like discussing every day like what we need to tweet. And Chester is super good at turn the information, the text into like very fancy and very attractive visualizations. So now then, in like if you notice on our tweets, and we have some like information, but we always like to attach a picture. And I think the visual can really is like very helpful, and people love to forward those. And we created a standard dashboard. We call it Sushi Daily Status, which includes our liquidity, volume, revenues, and top three farms and manual of the week, top three based on the ROI. And also we include the ranking for the apps and top decentralized exchanges. Then we got it from Token Terminal. So we will use a standard format and then to post and then just to train our community to like whenever they see this dashboard, then they will have a better idea on like how is sushi is doing today, something like this. That's for Twitter. And for Medium, to be honest, and we our plan is to publish on Medium like some long article, detailed information, maybe every 2 weeks. That's all was our original plan. And so we're still like trying to figure out what kind of article that we want to publish on the Medium. And for Discord, Telegram. So regarding Discord, I really love like Discord, and I think a lot of people following us on Discord, and a lot of people chats in our general Discord general channel, which is really nice. And but we need to make sure we understand there is a difference between using Twitter and Discord. So Discord, I think, is like people who understand us and try to who would like to involve more, and then they will come to Discord and they will chat with our core team. And however, like for Twitter, it's more like announcement, like people who probably that like don't understand sushi deeply but very interested in us, and they will look at our Twitter. So for Twitter posts, I would say that we will just try to post like more often. And for Discord, and is more rely on our community managers, because I think Discord is the place that community manager can like connect to our communities more like closely. So for Discord, I'll kind of like rely on all the community managers and control Mackie on all of this. So this is like where we are on our social strategy now. But I would like Chester to maybe talk more on like what is our like next plan or what we can do better.
Thank you, Maya. Yeah, that was a great overview. We're very busy people, as you can imagine. Um, so
Totally.
before I dive into more of the specific Magic Turtle, do you have any questions about that so far?
I had two ideas that sort of came up to me when you were discussing the variety of those strategies.
Yeah.
The first one was just and this might be a tough question because like this is something that I don't think I really even know the correct answer, but like if say we are to go into a bear market for maybe 2 or even 4 months, what what is the messaging style that we should be using? Like is giving an update every day on the price movement, is that good or is that bad in a bear market? I don't know. Um, but yeah, I'm just curious on sort of your thoughts on stuff like that.
Yeah.
I
Very
think,
good question. Yeah.
yeah, that's a great question. Um, would you like to take your take on it, Maya, or do you want me to hop in?
I have some idea and like yeah. So I think that's a very good question. Actually, that to be honest, I think Chester and I have been like working on this for the last few days because I think everyone noticed, and the price is like went down in the last few days, and it's not the
Yeah.
bear market, but it's kind of like we already started. So and then what we want to tell the community. So I'm thinking that we don't want to focus on the price. So one thing is, um, to be honest, I think a lot of people will like feel anxious and when they see the price going down, but price doesn't represent all the stories or like what's happening to this project. And
Mm-hmm.
SushiSwap has like a much more than that. I talk with the core team kind of like every day, and I know that they are doing a lot of and they have made a lot of progress on the technical part, especially the dev team, and they have tracked all the tasks on Trello, which is the project management tool. And I believe that they share the Trello dashboard with the Discord community today also. So I mean, price is not everything, and price is only like one part of the sushi swap. And we have like more than that. So that's why on our dashboard, actually, that we didn't even put price on our dashboard, like daily status. We want to like make people like focus on the TVL and the volume, um, the revenue, and those part, because a price also like will change or fluctuate like by a lot of factors, like external factors. For example, today the market is like the whole market is down. It's not just a sushi
Yeah.
or like it's not just like ether, right? So everything's down and it's start from the stock market and all of this. So when people like look at the price down and they will kind of like want to blame the project itself. But if we look at into like more detail, and then they will figure out, okay, this is first to start from the external, and that is a reason. And even that is like from sushi, if that is because maybe we there's like a new feature that we implemented and people like probably don't understand it, like and then they feel anxious about this, so they quit a little bit, but they probably will come back. I mean, the price doesn't like tell the whole story. So I would suggest that we more like focus on what the progress and dev team or the core team has been made. And we have a lot of proposals. For example, the one of the very popular proposal, the bento box stand borrowing crypto, and I think that will make the sushi swap like more powerful and stronger like in 1 month when that is implemented. So I would suggest that we talk more about like the progress, the project progress to our community if there is a bear market. Hopefully not. Yeah.
Yes, hopefully not.
Yeah, hopefully not.
Right. I agree completely, and um I think that also plays into kind of what I've felt from the start, what a good messaging angle in general should be, is really telling this community story. It's like it is very impressive to anyone who really begins to learn about it, because it isn't quite obvious just from viewing the token price and viewing the websites and such from the outside that this is a completely community run and governed project that is still managing to hold on and play, in the same ball game as Uniswap and the other hard hitters, and still continue to innovate and still continue to work despite the massive PR backlash with everything that happened with Chef Nomi. And so I think really leaning into, this angle, everyone kind of loves an underdog story, so to speak. And as Maya is saying, really focus on promoting like what's happening here, what are the updates, and we having this plan, um, doing like 3 to 4 posts a week about project updates and highlights like that. Um, I also think we should be including more frequent public updates about, are there any proposals in the forum that are gaining traction? Like what's going up on Snapshot? How were the results? And really just leaning into all of the things that are happening behind the scenes, because there's a community here that's committed and not necessarily, just a group of people who are trying to just pump the price constantly and have a larger vision.
Awesome, I totally agree. Like, like it, it's sort of funny that uh, Uniswap launched their token, because I feel like it it's almost antithetical to the idea of like a community governance token, the way they've set it up. But I digress. So I want to talk about the paid social media milestone that you guys have here. What sort of ideas do you guys have for that? Because like the thing that comes to my head immediately is I have seen the apparently the rope project had a sort of airdrop bounty where if you could get like social media influencers to talk about a coin or something like that, and you screenshotted it, then you would get airdropped some rope, which started to it quickly devolved into just sort of degenerate shilling of coins trying to get free money. So I'm curious what ideas you guys have, or what projects you were envisioning for the leveraged paid social media.
Sure. I'll hop in on this one, because I added in a lot of these. I don't personally in my job do a lot of the manual work of like setting up the campaigns and setting the budgets and doing the analyzing, but I do work in teams of people who do that, and I work with them to determine, from a visual and creative standpoint, what are we going to put in paid ads? um, what kind of ROI are we looking for? Who are we targeting? And then it kind of is an iterative strategy based on the performance of what my team and I creates for paid advertising. We kind of take that data back and try and make adjustments, do A/B testing, etc. So my idea is kind of coming through this through my experience in working in paid Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, is as well as Google retargeting, is really just kind of try in the first place, because Maya, I think, would agree that one of the biggest problems we're facing outside of the bubble of our Discord is that there's always quite a lot of negative chatter on Twitter and elsewhere on the internet, about us at the moment. So I was hoping to use paid advertising, particularly on Twitter, to target a lot of newer folks and people who might not necessarily be as aware of the project, and also, kind of with a two-pronged approach, target people who are familiar with the project, but who might not necessarily care too much about, the kind of drama that's happened, because every crypto project seems to have drama at some point or another, and kind of target them with very specific incentives for joining the platform. Like, for example, if we have standard liquidity pools that consistently have a pretty good ROI, putting some ad dollars behind targeting Twitter users who interact with that coin and follow accounts associated with it, and target them and say, hey, did you know you can get like a 60% APY if you stake this coin with Sushi on SushiSwap? And so kind of taking this two-pronged approach of getting very granular with targeting users who could potentially bring more liquidity to the platform and more legitimacy in that manner, but as well as trying to do a broader branding campaign to kind of just clear the air a bit and drown out some of the negatives that are happening. And to me, that also would extend to Google paid advertising, kind of targeting keywords around SushiSwap and X Sushi and Chef Nomi and other things like that that do get a lot of Google searches, so that we can hopefully kind of get some more sponsored results, push those down, um, and try and to some degree begin to take back the space and the conversation around the project. So, some more specifics of that, with Twitter in particular, trying to figure out an official hashtag strategy, because I've personally gotten some feedback, and I've looked and seen myself that, kind of like our mainstay sushi hashtags that we use are filled with a lot of spam giveaways and with a lot of negative price talk. And so kind of doing research to say, okay, well, is there a better one we could be using, or will we be better off creating a new one, and doing some research into that so that we can begin shifting our general strategy behind that hashtag, and as it gains more traction, can begin targeting with paid ads users who do follow and interact with that hashtag as well, outside of just being followers of the account. And so that's kind of just largely the high level on it. It can go very deep and very granular, and it takes a lot of time and legwork and deep diving to figure out, okay, like what's a suitable budget based on our research, like how likely do we think these specific audiences and keywords are going to perform, what are our KPIs for success that we're measuring, what kind of ROI do we need to continue investing in this specific strategy, et cetera, et cetera. So it's kind of a lot of, digging through data a lot repetitively and making changes on it. So I kind of kept it in the forum a bit to a high level, just because it can get incredibly granular. And again, like I said, with my experience, I don't necessarily, go into Google AdWords and set all these kinds of things up myself. So I didn't want to completely speak outside of my wheelhouse and be wrong on something. But from the high level, that was kind of just my thinking behind using paid social advertising.
I got you. Okay. Okay, so it's really about sort of amping up the Twitter presence, and just like really sort of having an actual initiative to get advertisements out, and use different hashtags to evade the spammers. I've seen a lot of those scams where people are like faking send me 100,000 sushi and I'll send you double back. It's sort of ridiculous.
Yeah, it is. And Maya and I were talking to, sorry, Mia, I keep mispronouncing that. We were speaking to Control today in the Discord, and there's a few things we're going to do here soon to handle that. One is we're going to work on just rebranding the Twitter, getting rid of the rainbow sushi Nyan cat thing and the chef emoji header, just because in a way it's almost become iconic and emblematic of SushiSwap. But the other hand of that is a lot of these scam accounts or whatever use that very same artwork, because it's the one thing we've kind of got sitting out there. So a low hanging fruit to handle that will be you know, get a new Twitter icon, get a new header, kind of do like a soft rebrand. And that's something that Mia and I have been working on together in collaboration with Pedro with 4 W's at the end. And so that's kind of the first step, just make it look different so that it's kind of contextual, that if you're seeing things with that cat all over it, like it's no longer part of what we're doing. And the second part of that, I'm going to create a graphic and we're going to put together some copy, and we're actually going to pin a tweet to the Twitter account that's kind of like, hey, the only official things about sushi are coming from this account. Like, there are no airdrops, there are no giveaways, like those are scams, disregard kind of thing. So
Yeah, that would be
hopefully
good.
so with those first two things, it kind of just be a kickstart to rolling out to a larger plan and strategy of trying to just clean up the conversation a bit.
Yeah, totally. And as Chester mentioned, then so I think in the next few days, and then the community will see like a new, at least a new banner on our Twitter, and also then we will like remind the community that we don't have like airdrop or giveaway at this moment. So just to like make everyone notice about this, and I want to like circle back to I think one of the thing that Magic Turtle that you mentioned about Uniswap. So about the Uni have their own token now, the Uni token, and like their token economics shows seems like that is also a community token, but actually then I kind of doubt on that because about like 19%, 19% of the share will go to the investors and advisors. So, and only 60% will go to the Uniswap community. So I still like thought that Uniswap is a community run company. I think that they're still like kind of like controlled or under some of the governance by their investors, venture capital firms, and maybe some of their advisors. So just want
And
to
that's
circle back on that.
only a breakup of the maximum supply. Right now, the investors have their entire share, the entire like 20% unlocked in their wallets, and
Yeah,
the 60% dedicated to the community is just being sort of slowly distributed
totally.
based on the yield. So like right now, it's just it doesn't
It's not, yeah, it's not like Sushi Swap. We'll just say it
yeah.
like that. Yeah.
Yes.
And also then want to add one thing about those like price stuff. So although, how to say that, like regarding the PR and marketing, although from our perspective, from like a team's perspective, we don't think then to focus on price is is the priority stuff. But we also, because we're a community run project, so we hear the voice from our community. Price, they care about the price. We understand why, because they're retail investors who invest in sushi. So, but I kind of like want to give a little bit basic training to our community, that like in terms of investing, that price, the current price is not always the most important thing. And actually then you want to look at price to sales ratio, then which is a market volume divided by our revenue. So if we look at the token terminal benchmark or rankings, you will see then sushi is on the top with the lowest price to sales ratio, which means that our sushi token is totally undervalued at this moment.
Yeah,
So
it's sort of insane when you actually like try to do the
yeah,
numbers. It just makes no sense at the current valuation.
Exactly. So that tells the community that okay, the price now is low, but even with this low price, then Sushi Swap has about like what, like 40 close to 40 million like volume, and we collected a 90 like thousand or something around that, like revenue daily. So if you think about this like a basic logic, right? And then seems like this project is doing something and is making the progress and people are using it. So there's the value of this project. And then if you the volume, the trading volume can reflect on that. So people are using it. This project is like being used by the community. Although the price, like at this moment, is low, but in terms of price to sales ratio, is kind of like to tell you that is undervalued. But we don't give like investment financial like advisor like those suggestions, but just want to help the community to see it not from like a price this like very single angle, but also that to understand more the price to sales ratio. So that's why then we put it on our dashboard, and then we're going to tweet like for this daily status dashboard, and then hopefully then the community will look at this and then we'll remember this and then we'll get trained and then they will look at price to sales ratio, not just the price. Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. I totally agree. Some I something I do want to touch on and sort of discuss is the budget for the proposal, because there were a few people who were sort of sort of had some questions, I guess, or were a little bit concerned. Um, I'm just curious, sort of what breakup of the fund? Because I mean, obviously, anybody who is taking on a role for Sushi Swap and taking on responsibilities and trying to grow the platform, I mean, they're a person. They need to eat as well. They need to, everybody has bills and things like that. So I'm curious what sort of breakup and what type of costs you guys anticipate for some of these marketing things, marketing programs that you sort of plan. So yeah, like what are those costs, and then like how much do you think would be dedicated to just sort of income or I'm trying to think of a word and I can't grasp it.
Mm, I guess let me start off this by saying, you know, um, especially now with how everything's are going with the price movement, um, we are very aware of the anxieties that people might rightfully be feeling around, you know, budgeting and paying for things and paying people. And so that is definitely top of mind. And, we didn't necessarily include a lot of super hard numbers in this for a couple of reasons. One being for a lot of things, particularly paid advertising strategies, it requires a bit more of an in-depth analysis of, starting from specific ideas of what we would like to do. You then have to analyze, okay, what's the feasibility of it? How can we measure the success? Determining, how long do we want to spend on it? How long before we reevaluate? So there's a lot more, kind of granular work that goes into getting a lot of super hard numbers on a lot of things. And so we did kind of have it just general outlines, kind of just to gauge where people would be most comfortable in allotting money for budgeting, because based on that number, that definitely informs how it's then split up and how we analyze where is the best use of each of those dollars amongst each of these things. And same with salary, that we didn't include, any kind of hard numbers on salary, because I know personally, I feel like that would have to be a completely separate discussion and would likely be a separate community vote. Like, I believe that most of our intent behind this was kind of just to put together a larger plan and not necessarily, an advocating for ourselves in the fullest way possible. I mean, of course, yes, we're proposing the idea and we would like to be involved helping execute it. But just to clarify, this was not a we're looking for a
Yeah,
job.
it's
Here's our
not a
idea. Hire us.
contract.
Right, exactly. And we didn't even necessarily say like specific salaries for people, just kind of, making sure that we have in the budget compensating community managers who are helping out and answering questions in the Discord. Um, you know, execution and leadership bonus. I think more along the lines of, people who step up and help, and whoever ends up executing parts of this plan, that a salary for them is included in that budget discussion, not necessarily, hey, we need to carve out salaries for Chester and Mia and that sort of thing. So I don't necessarily have any super hard numbers on that, but I know I did see one comment about, we can't do a blank marketing check of $1.5 million for two people. And
Yeah,
certainly it
I
is,
thought that
but
was a
that's
little
not
bit
the
because like in
yeah.
reality, like potentially more than half of this is going to be spent on like paying for actual marketing services and things like that.
Yep.
Certainly.
So it's just I some people I think maybe misinterpreted like how, what the proposal was was talking in terms of a budget. And yeah, I'm glad that you guys could clarify that.
Yep.
Yeah, of
Um,
course. Yeah, I've
yeah.
definitely been kind of anxious reading that. And yeah,
I
there's certainly more things I wish I could have been a little more specific on. I know Mia and I were working at kind of a frenetic pace to really get something together to kind of begin to get this idea rolling in the community's head, because time is of the essence. And I believe,
Absolutely.
in our opinion and in a lot of people's opinion, we should have been marketing 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
to anybody who is listening and thought along those lines, I promise you, we're not just trying to swipe a bunch of sushi for ourselves.
yeah, and I do appreciate that Chester actually responded to those like feedback, and he take all the heat, and then I'm kind of like, okay, let Chester. So I really appreciate that. So one of the comment, yes, like specifically focus on the salaries for Chester and I, that like I speak for myself that I haven't got any like compensation from sushi, and like for this proposal is fully just because from my experience helping several crypto projects on the PR and the marketing, I just see there is opportunity and there's chance and we can and I can help this project. And then Chester and I connected with each other, and he did like a very dedicated proposal on branding. So we decided, okay, let's like make a very comprehensive PR marketing proposal together, and that's why then we drafted this proposal. And at the beginning, we published something, I think like more not like this detail, and then we got feedback from the community. And it's interesting, some of the feedback is saying that, hey guys, and I don't think 100k sushi is like enough, and have you guys thought about like the paid commercials and all of those, how 100k is enough, and something like this. So someone says, okay, the budget you propose is not enough, and some other voice will say, okay, I think this is too much. So I guess we hear the voice from the community, and I appreciate that and all the feedback. So I'm thinking is probably is the some gaps of like understanding how like how much we need to pay, or like the expense that we're going to spend on paying for the like hosting the AMA, or giving the rewards, or designing an NFT and all of those. Actually, all of those that need like sushi token, and also like for volunteers, there's a lot of like quite a lot of volunteer work. And for now, then we're doing like by ourselves. But if we ask like volunteers help, then we can do it faster. And also, this is because it's a community run project. When people involve themselves, then they will love this project more. So we want to encourage the communities to do more volunteer work. In this way, then we also need to give a lot of rewards and to those people who help the community. And regarding the Chinese marketing strategy, yeah, paying the social media article, paying the third party media like article probably won't take a like yeah, won't cost a lot. But if you want to design a digital marketing campaign, like design sushi swap stickers, pictures, and videos, and all of those, you if we want to make it good, and then we'll need to pay for that. And even then, we ask the volunteers to help us, but we still need to give them rewards. And to manage like 50 plus community groups, and then everyone will know that to create those groups and to invite people to join in those groups is easy, but how we can maintain those, how we can make sure that they will stick with us. And there are a lot of like strategies involved. For example, there are probably like some airdrops or giveaways for those people who's will to stay with us, something like this. So there are a lot of details, and there are a lot of like rewards we need to give, and then to keep all those strategies implemented, and then to like move forward. And we didn't like include all those details in this plan, so that's maybe, I guess that's why. And if the people who like don't have the PR or marketing background, and then they probably think, oh, it's just a very easy work, and why you guys like propose for this budget. But I believe that like people who has the PR and marketing background, and they look at this and then they will like understand. So there's a lot of things that we we need like a sushi, we need the budget and then to pay for to keep our community like be with us. And this is a long-term plan. It's not just a short-term, just not like one-time AMA stuff. It's like we were going to do it for months and then for like a year or something. And for that, so we need like some budget, and then to start, and then to maintain, and then to implement, and to make sure our strategies like will go successful.
And
Yeah.
one thing I wanted to add quickly on that, and actually to circle back around to something you mentioned earlier, Magic Turtle, with you said rope, was it? Kind of
Mm-hmm.
just airdropping people to get influencers to say things and screenshot. And in my opinion, that sort of approach seems cheap and kind of disingenuous.
Well, it's not that like it's not the strategy itself. It's just that the opportunity is there for people who have no care for the community at all to just try to profit and make a quick buck in it, and it sours the entire sort of social campaign, social media campaign.
Certainly. So, I am 100% in agreement with Maya that we do need to reward the community and for their involvement and for their help. But just to clarify, we're not trying to buy followers or bribe the community into sticking with us or provide, those kinds of opportunities to just make a quick buck with us. It's a very thoughtful and intentional way, always kind of filtered through the lens of making sure that the way we're presenting these things, whether they're paid or whether they're just organic things we're doing within the community, that it's genuine and about furthering the project, not just, hey, follow us for 50 sushi kind of thing.
This is something
Exactly. Yeah.
something
So
just totally off the top of my head, but it'd be it. I've seen the project Avegachi. They actually run sort of weekly quote unquote missions where you interact with the platform in some way, take a screenshot showing that you did it, and then you like level up on the Discord. And based on your level, you get access to different sort of giveaways and fun sort of rewards to community members that way. Something along the lines of that, could be great to sort of encourage people to stick with the community.
totally.
I
So
Yeah,
yeah,
I love
like
that. Could you send a link to that? Because I've never actually heard of them and I'd like to look into
Oh,
that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I'll send it.
great, great. And to add on like for that, so totally then we actually then I put a plan for that because I received like I think more than 50 or like yeah 50 volunteer requests. And after I registered like for the WeChat account, and a lot of like volunteer requests from China a community, and then also like from US. So I noticed that there are a lot of like volunteers, and we want to collaborate them together. And we have like different types of volunteer tasks, something related to marketing, PR, or translation, or maybe help like with the dev team, something like this. So I like on my original plan is to create like a kind of like type of a tracker, and then to list all the volunteer community tasks, and then collaborate all the volunteers together and assign the task, and then based on their interests and or what they are good at, and then I will use a tracker to keep the progress. And once they complete the task, and then we will give the reward, or we give like some NFT, like something. And so this is like the way that we keep the volunteers with us, we keep the communities with us. So as like what Chester like mentioned earlier, it's not just like a one-time thing and just follow us and then we give you some sushi, or like join our AMA one time, we'll give you some sushi. This is not our plan. So I have been like in several like crypto like PR. So that is only like short term. People won't be like active, they won't like stick it with you. They just want to get some airdrop. So we want to enhance that progress. So we want to make it like a very formal thing, that volunteers is not just like a volunteer, they come from our community and we're a community run project. We want them to feel that they belong to the sushi family, and they feel like honored to complete a sushi task. So regarding that, and then that's why then we want to like have a like a budget in regards the volunteer rewards. Yeah.
The sushi fam.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow, I like that word. Yeah. Great.
Well, awesome. I'm curious if any of the people listening in have any questions or thoughts that they want to contribute, or if they just want to listen. It's okay either way. Don't want to put anyone on the spot.
Hey everyone, Silicon Valley S5 here. Can y'all hear me clear?
Yeah, you're coming in super clearly.
Right on. I'm joining a little late and jumped on about 7 minutes ago. So I had some thoughts that like to share, and apologies if I'm covering ground that you guys already went over.
No
But
worries.
kind of just dovetailing off of what was just being talked about in terms of incentivizing participation. I forget who was it mentioned something about um, the uh, the other platform. I did see something about that in recent weeks, but I think the gamification of engagement could be a really sticking point um, that I think Sushi Swap and its kind of name and logo and kind of meme theme plays off of really well. And I'm wondering if we might want to think about gamifying some of that engagement and maybe even linking up with like some of the NFT platforms like Rarible or something, and trying to bring in some artists and create some NFTs that we could incentivize people with. I think there's just a lot of kind of traction going on in that space right now that we might be able to um, kind of link up with the Sushi Swap platform.
Yeah, I love the idea, and um, I think you bring up a really interesting point that given the current branding that we have, it's very memey and not super incredibly serious. It does Gamification does play along well with that, and yet on the other hand, there's been almost overwhelming feedback, at least in my interactions with the community and the surveys I've put out, about this desire to make the Sushi Swap brand a little more serious. And I definitely think that to a degree that needs to happen. I do think if we want to improve our PR image and we want to be taken a little more seriously, I do think we need to step away a bit from that kind of less serious, not necessarily tone. I think we can still have a lot of personality, but there is a lot of sour taste left in people's mouth for kind of the litany of food exchanges that kind of all came out at once. And so I do see the
Yeah,
value.
yeah.
And so I think it'd be interesting to figure out, what is that balance of how do we gamify yet be a little more serious? And does it involve, you know, should we have community votes on what volunteer rewards would be to kind of keep it in line with this community ethos, or is it some other process? I don't know, but that's a really interesting point that I hadn't actually thought of yet. So thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah, Chester, hey, it's great to hear your voice. I've seen you around a lot, and I think I actually commented on some of your um, posts and proposals around the branding. And I think you're right on that. To stay in line with our theme here, maybe some of the fish went bad through the migration and whatnot. And it is a balance, right? So between kind of being another food meme and moving into a more mature quote unquote platform. Um, and my take on that is kind of is similar, which is that it is a balance. And I would say that there's kind of two sides to that, same token, in the sense that um, the the kitschiness of the sushi, um, were it not tainted by the 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 issues for lack of a better word that we experienced, that kind of freaked a lot of people out. Actually, had those things not happened, the whole sushi kind of meme and theme was a huge driver, I would say, of adoption and just kind of front of mind awareness, right? It's in my opinion, right? You look at kind of the two that stood out the most over the past couple of months, and it was yam and sushi, right? And those are both really kind of like cartoony, you know, stuff that you can play off of, right? Whether you're a yam farmer or you're a sushi chef. Um, and you kind of go down the funnel that from there, and you got pickle and everything else, and it's kind of like meh in my opinion. But so I think it's something that we have to balance, like you're saying. And I think we can still get a lot of mileage out of it if we play it the right way. And I think we can shake off the stigma of what happened, because there's just so much progress and things taking place, whether it be Maya's PR efforts and our Bento box and the new UI and stuff, and or the mobile app that we're proposing. So I would say that migration from you know this more playful theme to something more mature doesn't happen. I think this is what the community is saying. It's like or is discussing, like, should that happen overnight? Do we need like a massive branding campaign right now? My opinion is no. I think we need to continue to grow the platform and the products and features, and still and maintain leveraging kind of the front of mind awareness of this sushi object, right? Like I got a t-shirt like a week after sushi started, and I wear it with pride, and it gets a lot of looks and interest, and my niece and nephew now want one, and I'm sending them over to Connecticut from the West Coast. Yeah, anyway, a little bit of a diatribe, but I like where sushi is right now. I kind of like the graphic effect of it, and I think it lends itself to like a gamification and kind of staying true to kind of this community memed ethos. But we do need to mature. But I think that will happen. That will happen organically as we mature. Anyway, I'll tap out after that.
That's really good comments. Yeah. Nice to meet you here, like Silicon Valley S5.
Yeah, you too, Maya.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you in Silicon Valley? Just curious because the your name.
Yeah, I am. I'm here. I'm
Oh,
in Silicon
actually,
Valley.
that me too. So that's why I also ask. Yeah, I
Cool.
really I do appreciate that a lot of your comments there, and recent like few days and like if in the channel and because of the price down stuff, like people like will like say some like negative words, but like it's really good to hear that you literally said that you like what sushi like is here and all of those, so that's really like encourage us a lot.
Totally. Totally.
Yeah, it does. Thank you for for hopping on and asking a question, and thank you for commenting on my proposals and stuff. I really appreciate it.
You
And
bet. Likewise.
yeah, I think you're right. I think it will happen over time, and I think we do have the good fortune that out of all of these foods being used as tokens, um, sushi to me seems pretty versatile. Like it can be something that's kind of cute and easy and at times kind of cheap, but sushi is also a food that in many ways can be considered an art form. And so there's various levels of interpretation and elevation that I believe a brand and a visual direction around sushi in particular can take. I mean, yam is cool and all, but how elegant and refined can you make a yam? Um, so I think there's definitely
Say that to
opportunity.
my alpha games.
At least from my visual perspective, I've never seen a yam and thought, wow, like what a beautiful presentation of this yam.
Yeah. The entire sort of aesthetic is sort of based around being like a rugged, like a farmer, like basically, sort of
Right.
funny.
Yeah. And also that actually I want to remind how to say like myself also remind myself and also the community that sushi is kind of like just born like for 1 month, maybe a little bit over 1 month. That as what Silicon Valley S5 mentioned that will get mature. Like we're just like 1 month born baby, but we're moving very fast, and then we will like get mature like in the near future. And the dev team is like working really hard, and then they shared all the test details on the Trello dashboard. And then if like community interested, and then they can, I think they share on the general channel. So, I mean, the dev team, they are still working on that to implement a lot of new features, including the bento box. So if the community can like stay with us and then to give like a little bit patience, and I believe that SushiSwap will like grow and like be mature in the very near future.
Totally agree. Bento box is going to be huge for the platform.
Yeah.
I think a lot
Yep.
of people have like yet to really dive or dig into what is happening, what the bento box is going to do. But yeah, custom made lending pairs is it's nuts. Uh,
Totally.
but
Hey Maya,
we oh go ahead, Jester. Sorry.
sorry, I just want one more question for Maya. This is Silicon Valley again. Because of the just like, you know, numerous channels, right, for content distribution and PR and marketing. Um, I was wondering what your thoughts were on kind of like the first arrow to shoot, like um, that would be the at least the beginning core of say the Sushi Swap PR and marketing campaign. Like, would that be like? I think one important thing is like regularity and consistency, right? So most of the projects that I think we see out there that gain longer term trust is when you see regular formatted and timely information coming out, and it's always going to be on these say one two like maybe three platforms total, like maybe it's Medium, one or two media outlets like Decrypt or something like that, and then Twitter, right? And it's like
Mhm.
like like if I go away for the weekend, right? Let's say I go camping and I'm offline. I know when I come back and I want to catch up with, let's say, Sushi Swap, that like, I have my bookmarks for Sushi Swap, right? And I'm gonna have those three bookmarks so that when I come back, I'm gonna get the most like regular and up to date stuff in a format that I know and I can rely on. That's going to bring me up to speed. So I was wondering if you guys, you and your team, had been kind of thinking about what the first approach is going to be, and kind of where like what timeline you're looking at for setting something like that in motion.
Yeah. Very good question. Thank you. So I think first one will be Twitter for English speaking countries. And now that we have a Sushi Swap daily status, we have, I think, published twice. And that will include our TVL, volume, revenue, top three farms, and menu of the week, and also the benchmarks like top decentralized exchange rankings and all of those. So that will be kind of like daily, but maybe not like 7 days, maybe 3 to 4 times. because day to day there probably won't be a lot of change. So for that will be 3 to 4 days. And then we also have like a dashboard designed for weekly team progress. So we published, I think, early last week. And then for that, you will like catch up like what the team has completed for the last week, what new features we have, what the proposals we implemented for those. So we kind of now we have a daily and also we have a weekly catch up for like Twitter. So as what you mentioned, if you go for like a short trip and then come back, and then you either will like look at our like daily status, or you will catch up on the weekly status team progress. So I think that's for Twitter, English speaking countries, which who has like access to Twitter easily. And for China, then we'll use WeChat because like everyone uses WeChat in China, and we already registered account, and then we constantly publish like articles or news about sushi, and some tutorials about like how to use some wallet, token wallet or some other wallet in China, then to connect SushiSwap. So so I would say Twitter, like for Europe, US, English speaking countries, and WeChat for China for now. And then for Medium, I'm glad you mentioned this. So we will like publish articles probably every 2 weeks on Medium about like maybe proposals with detailed information. And I think Borrowing Crypto like published like twice last week. And besides that, we also need to covering some of the technical part, which will be the GitHub. Some of the people then they know some programming and technical people, and then they will come to check the GitHub to see like what code or like what open source code that you guys have like published, and then they kind of use GitHub as a like a KPI or like an indicator to see then how good your development is. So in this way, then I would say social media, Twitter, WeChat, Medium, and then the GitHub for the technical part, and then Discord for our community management. Yeah.
Awesome. Wow.
Yeah.
太棒了.
Oh wow, that's thank you for the Chinese. Yeah. Great.
Yeah. So I just want to chime in on kind of what you were saying earlier, reminding people that PR and marketing is it is an art and a science, and it does require talent and expertise. I spent quite some time in the agency world, and I worked for Maya. You might have heard of 蓝色光标 or 蓝标 in China.
Oh, yep, yep.
Yeah.
Wow, that's very
So
famous.
yeah, so I know that world really well, and this stuff doesn't come easily, right? Like there are easily projects that are spending, 10 grand a week, 20 grand a week on people writing Medium posts. That's not a
Yeah.
lie. That's literally how it's done. It's not, just it's not that easy to just bang out a Medium post that's compelling, right? And that actually is more than just fluff.
Exactly.
So yeah, so I totally support your proposal and your initiative, and I definitely think you need to have a good war chest of resources and budget to do that. So I would encourage, and I will encourage Core Dev and Chef Maki to put that up for a vote on Snapshot ASAP, because I think that's urgent.
That would be great. Thanks.
Yeah,
Thanks for your support.
absolutely.
Yeah. And I want to say that, in terms of that, when you said the PR is about art and then about science, technology, and then the art part. So I want to say that between Chester and I probably take then science and technology, this part, but Chester take all of the art part. And everything like design, visualization, Chester is on top of it, and he's really rock on it.
Nice.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Yeah, and a quick shout out, Chester. Your NFT is beautiful.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
The only and I hate to say this, but okay, I'm gonna say it anyways because I already started. I wish there was like a stamp or something on like the corner that said like chef approved or something like that, or like Nomi like know me verified or something like that. But I'm super positive about all the NFT stuff that's going on for SushiSwap.
That's a great idea. If I ever, I'm mulling around some ideas for some more um, SushiSwap related NFT artwork or something. So that's a fun idea. I'll put that in whatever I come up with next.
But it's been about an hour and 10 minutes, and I don't want to hold you guys, overnight. um,
That's why you
I
have 3 cups of coffee, right?
yes, yeah, exactly. I want to thank everybody who came to listen or talk. Silicon Valley, it's awesome that you came out to talk and give your thoughts. I really appreciate all the engagement and contributions. Mia and Chester. Also, Mia, you should have told me that your name is pronounced Mia. I have like a pet peeve when I mispronounce people's names and they don't tell me.
No worries. No worries.
Thank you guys for coming and talking. I really enjoyed talking with you guys and hearing about your plans. And I think that about wraps it up for the Sushi Roundtable.
Thanks.
Great. Thanks
This was
for,
awesome.
yeah, awesome.
Keep
Thank you
doing them.
very much.
Yeah, thank you so much. This has been great. I know me and I have been in our little bubble talking about this quite a lot. So it's it's nice
Yeah.
to actually be able to really have this dialogue with everyone and answer some questions and hopefully make things a little clearer for people who are interested in what we're doing. So thank you for inviting us on.
Yeah, no problem. And to anybody who is listening to the recording, thank you for listening and tuning in. Stay safe.
Rock
Stay
on,
safe.
chefs. Take
Thank you,
care.
guys. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
See you all online.